Today on Bench Briefs, we're looking at a recent Supreme Court of Canada decision that tackles the tricky balance between police powers and individual rights. In RVGG, the court considered when the police can search a home without a warrant and what happens if that search violates someone's charter rights. Here's what happened. GG was charged with possession of a controlled substance for the purpose of trafficking. The police suspected that Gigi had drugs at his residence, but instead of getting a warrant, they entered and searched his home right away. They justified their actions by claiming there were exigent circumstances, essentially an urgent situation that made waiting for a warrant impossible. During the search, the police found evidence that supported the charge against Gigi. But Gigi challenged the evidence, arguing that the warrantless search violated his rights under Section 8 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which protects against unreasonable search and seizure. He said the police didn't have a valid reason to skip the warrant process, so the evidence should be excluded. So the Supreme Court had two key questions to decide. First, was the warrantless search justified under the exigent circumstances exception? In other words, were the police right to act without a warrant because there was an urgent need? And second, if the search did violate Gigi's charter rights, should the evidence they found be excluded under Section 24(2) of the Charter to protect the integrity of the justice system? These questions are crucial because the Charter protects individual privacy, especially in the home. But the police also need ways to act quickly in emergencies. The court's decision helps clarify where that line is drawn. In their ruling, the justices emphasized that warrantless searches are the exception, not the rule. To qualify as exigent circumstances, the situation must be urgent, and there must be a real risk that waiting for a warrant would lead to destruction of evidence, harm to people, or the escape of a suspect. It's not enough that the police just want to act quickly or avoid red tape. The court found that, in this case, the police did not meet this high threshold. The circumstances described didn't justify bypassing the warrant process. Because the search was unreasonable under Section 8, the evidence obtained was subject to exclusion. When deciding whether to exclude evidence, courts consider if admitting it would bring the administration of justice into disrepute. Here, the court decided that admitting evidence obtained through an unlawful search would undermine public confidence in the justice system. So the evidence was excluded. Why does this case matter? RVGG reinforces the strong protections Canadians have against unwarranted police intrusions into their homes. It clarifies that while exigent circumstances can allow for warrantless searches, the bar is set high to prevent abuse. Police must carefully justify any urgent actions that bypass the usual legal safeguards. This ruling also underscores the importance of Section 24(2) of the Charter as a tool to maintain fairness and integrity in the justice system. Excluding evidence obtained through rights violations sends a clear message that constitutional protections cannot be ignored, even in the pursuit of crime control. For everyday Canadians, RVGG means greater assurance that their privacy rights at home are respected and that the police must follow proper procedures unless there is a true emergency. For lawyers and judges, it provides important guidance on how to assess claims of exigent circumstances and when to exclude evidence. Thanks for listening to this episode of Bench Briefs. Join us next time as we explore another case shaping the Canadian legal landscape. Until then, stay curious and take care.